Hubhopper Originals.
To start your podcast for free, log on to studio.hubhopper.com.
Like I said, I would be lying if I say this round was a breeze because it wasn't, right? Especially when you're building for women, you have people question your business model, the TAM, how big can this become, the who you build for, etc. Right? But I think the two things that kind of kept Anand and I, Anand's my co-founder, that kind of kept both of us going in the last six, like I said, some very tough months for us as founders was one, the team, who we all hired remote, right? They kind of stood by us and stood by us through some amazing days, but also a lot of hard ones. To our members, I think they shower us with so much love. They give us so much feedback. Like the product is their own, right? And I think, and rightly so, they came right through when we said we wanted to raise. I remember we being extremely bullish about kind of raising with people who build businesses, but also people who believe in the path we've chosen. And I'm glad we got that, right? In fact, our lead investor was a member. The 13 women on the cap table basis this round are also members. And yeah, I guess if this is not customer loyalty and love, I don't know what is.
Hello and welcome to the Success with Savita podcast, where we share hot tips on how to do life and business without losing your mind. I'm your host, Savita Nanjappa, entrepreneur, high-achieving 9-to-5er turned transformational success coach, helping you create a wildly successful business. Come hang out with me and other fabulous humans like you every week for stories and chats packed with a healthy dose of tips, resources, how-tos, and real talk. Side effects may include a happier and more confident you with each passing day. Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you're enjoying everything that you're hearing on our show. And as always, today, before we dive into the interview, I'm going to take this time to introduce my lovely guest. This particular interview is exciting and I've been waiting for it to happen. And, we've been going back and forth for a couple of months now. Our last interview got postponed, but I think it got postponed for the right reasons, because post that, my guest has actually had a successful fundraise, more of which we're going to talk about during our conversation. My guest today is Ragini Das, co-founder of Leap.club, and she is a woman on a real mission of having more women in leadership roles. Her vision and drive has led her to curate and create an exceptional platform that aids in efficient professional networking for women. With the aim to bridge the long-seen disparity between men and women in the workplace, her remarkable skills in building and expanding brands has been key in accelerating Leap.club towards its mission. Ragini's proficiency in scaling business operations and managing people is due to her sound upbringing across the country and her time at Zomato, which served as an unwavering foundation to her rising career and strong leadership skills. It comes as no surprise that Ragini has also been recognized as Top Emerging Voice 2021 by LinkedIn. During her tenure at Zomato, Ragini has been a huge part of the building blocks of the brand and has garnered experience across various growth and sales roles in a span of 6 years. Previously, as the head of international expansion for Zomato Gold, she helped launch the product across 10 markets and had a front seat view of scaling the business from 0 to 2 million users. Her purposeful approach to go the extra mile relentlessly is what makes her an extraordinary leader. She says we need to provide women the right tools that can enable them to develop and grow in their career. I, along with Anand through Leap.club, envision witnessing many more women reach and stay in leadership. Most professional platforms today are cluttered and do not add any value to our professional lives. Our vision is to redefine a professional network by building a curated platform exclusively for women that emphasizes on quality engagement and drives real impact. The whole concept of Leap.club arrived when Ragini met her co-founder Anand Sinha and shared a similar notion around the professional landscape for women. Together, they founded Leap.club in early 2020 when they realized that there is a disparity in representation of women in roles of power and leadership. To tackle this problem head on, they decided to create a community-led, members-only networking platform for women. And that's what I speak to Ragini about in our conversation about her journey so far, why she started Leap.club, and what's the future looking like for Leap.club and its members. Hi, and welcome to the Success with Savita podcast. Joining me today is Ragini Das. A little backstory. I've been waiting for this interview forever, and I feel like the universe always says, wait for the right things. And we are doing this interview right after Leap Club has had a massive, celebration to share with us. So, Ragini, welcome to the show. I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Thanks, Savita. You're far too kind. But yeah, I think 100% agree with you on right things happen at the right time. I know we've been trying to talk for the last couple of months, I would say. But yeah, here we are finally, and very excited to be here and do this.
Thank you. And congratulations to you, your team, your co founder. This is a big moment for you all. Do you want to walk me through the news that you have to share with our audience, which is, of course, I'm sure everybody already knows, but just to talk about it again?
Yeah, no, I think, of course, the media and news articles have this ability to glamorize the entire process, but we raised about 810,000 US dollars. We raised with NZR Ventures, Kunal Shah, and a bunch of other investors. I think the biggest plus for us this time is we're in majority women cap table, which I think I'm very, very proud of, and about 13 members who participated in this round. So definitely a very, very special, I think, week, last 1 week. But like I said, I think this was definitely this round was definitely tougher than our seed round, and I think the last couple of months were also pretty tough for me as a founder specifically. But yeah, I think all's well that ends well. And to quote Kunal Bell, who's one of my I think one of our investors as well, right? It just takes one yes, right? So we have a bold mission to build the best professional network globally with a strong focus on community and women. We want to use this money to hit 10,000 members in the next couple of months and 100,000 members in the next couple of years and launch globally. We already have members from about 12 countries. We want to build complementary product verticals. We'll build jobs, L&D, et cetera, as we scale. But yeah, lots lying ahead.
Goosebumps. And for me, I'm always excited to hear when it's not just a woman-owned business, partly, which gets the funding, but also when you have so many investors who are all women. It's really good to see what's happening in this space. And
yeah, so no, I'll be honest, Savita, if I may, right? I think,
sure.
Like I said, I would be lying if I say this round was a breeze, because it wasn't, right? Especially when you're building for women, you have people question your business model, the TAM, how big can this become, the who you build for, etc. Right? But I think the two things that kind of kept Anand and I, Anand's my co-founder, that kind of kept both of us going in the last 6, like I said, some very tough months for us as founders was one, the team, who we all hired remote, right? They kind of stood by us and stood by us through some amazing days, but also a lot of hard ones. To our members, I think they shower us with so much love. They give us so much feedback, like the product is their own, right? And I think, and rightly so, they came right through when we said we wanted to raise. I remember we being extremely bullish about kind of raising with people who build businesses, but also people who believe in the path we've chosen. And I'm glad we got that, right? In fact, our lead investor was a member. The 13 women on the cap table basis this round are also members. And yeah, I guess if this is not customer loyalty and love, I don't know what is.
Yeah, and that's amazing because not a lot of people may have experienced product before they actually invested, but you had that. You have had that, which is very, I think, rare. And I just can't tell you how exciting this is. But having said that, while, always the outcomes when they are a win is always exciting. Before we go into the challenges and what the process was like, I want you to take me back right to the start. Why did you start Leap Club? What brought you to Leap Club? And what was the journey like?
So I think let me just start with a little background about me and how Leap started. So I think, again, my journey is very, very simple, zero frills. I'm a Malayali. I was actually born in Delhi, but I grew up all over India. So I've had a full 4G upbringing, right from JNK to Tamil Nadu. Right after my graduation in 2012, I picked up a role with Trident in Ludhiana, which was a manufacturing company, and they do a bunch of things like paper and terry towels and yarn, etc. And of course, they were paying me a bomb, so I literally thought, okay, I can live anywhere, but turns out not. So I joined them as a frontline entrepreneur for their sales and marketing team. But of course, lots of learnings. since I was also just starting my career. But I think within a year, I realized it's not something I want to do long term. And that's when, like every other 21-year-old, I think the MBA bug kind of started cropping in my head. So I started prepping for my GMAT. And that's when the Zomato opening randomly came to me one day. I remember I used to intern with someone at Standard Chartered, and his brother used to work for this really cool new food tech startup, which was supposed to be very cool with bean bags, and you get to speak to restaurants and in my head eat amazing food. So yeah, I kind of bit the bug and never looked back. So the MBA never happened, by the way. And
Which is good,
I stayed there
apparently.
for 6 years. I led various sales and growth teams across lots of cities, lots of verticals. I was, of course, there in Bangalore, which is a city you're in, for about
Yeah.
3 years. In my last stint, I led international expansion for one of their subscription products called Zomato Gold. So saw that journey from 0 to 10 countries and scale that to over 2 million paid members. That was actually where I met my now co-founder, Anand. He was old Zomato as well. And in fact, he joined in 2011, but quit in between to start his own media tech startup in 2014, and then joined us back again in 2018. And which is when he and I kind of started working together. Um, I would like to assume we were also friends beyond work, and we would kind of regularly talk about, how social and professional networks of today literally add no value to our lives. And that was actually where and how Leap was born. For those of you who don't know, Leap.club is a community-led professional network for women. Um, Typically, Savita, how this works is we see tech businesses launch their product first and then kind of start building communities, because it is the new cool,
Yeah.
And but at Leap, we're doing things slightly differently. So we're building a community first, and then we'll scale businesses on top. So over the last, I think, 18 plus months now of building, we've learned that members are primarily joining us for one reason. They want a trusted platform to connect with other individuals, and these connections are genuine, right? There's zero fluff, no
Yeah.
show off. So everything we do today is focused around making members meet and interact with other members. The fact that we build for women, we see lives change in front of us, is, I guess, what makes all the difference, and the ride 100% worth it for me personally.
Yeah, and I think I always remember the Avalon Meta founders
Yeah.
doing this whole talk about not doing MBA. So I think you definitely went down the right path, not
I
doing
think
the
the last
MBA.
18 months have taught me a lot more than what any MBA or any B school could have taught me. So yeah, zero
Yeah.
regrets.
Oh, but I do have to say, on the flip side, I am an MBA,
No,
but
no, of course, like
but
nothing against it.
no, but the fact is, I can't remember what I did during that time. So if you had to ask me where my knowledge comes, definitely didn't spend time reading those books. It was good, it was fun, it was all of that. But coming back to what you're sharing, I'm a huge believer in networking, and I felt like when I was in the corporate world, and now when I look back and I work with clients who are in the corporate world, the one thing that I tell them is go and network, because your next jobs are going to come from your network. And as you grow through the ladder, I think that's where your network is going to be your net worth. And I find that women in corporate actually don't seem to do that. They get cocoon
Sucked
into,
into the daily grind.
yes, in
Yeah.
their own companies, their own departments, their own industry maybe. But is this something that you noticed? Um, what was like the trigger for you to, so to say?
On what
Okay.
you said, right? I think even for women, um, I mean, you only have so many hours a day, right? So you want to kind of do your best at work, you want to be at home, you want to do all these things. But I think it's equally important to invest in your professional growth. And however, like it could be like 30 minutes a week. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be you going to a event and talking to people, etc. It could be one conversation, and that one conversation can change your life. So
Yeah.
imagine you meet like 5 people in a year, and out of those 5 people, 3 become a part of your inner network, right? Those 3 can have a very, very big slash delta impact to your career. So I think just investing in conversations, whether with men, women, whatever, right? I think just networking and making it not just a coffee catch up that leads to nothing
Yeah.
is very, very important.
Yeah, true. And I think you hit the nail on the head that it has to go beyond that coffee catch-up, because a lot of people can give you that one time maybe coffee chat, but
It could be
then
one thing they say. It
yeah,
could literally be one thing they say, and that could change everything for you.
absolutely, absolutely. So then I want to actually segue. It's a great way to get you to when you started. So you made this decision, you decided, both of you, to start Leap Club. What were some early stage, first time round, early days kind of challenges that you guys faced while setting this up?
I think challenges we face every day, to be honest, but
Yes.
specific to the ones that we faced while setting it up. I remember Leap was at its ideation stage.
Mhm.
And I think throughout then, we were supposed to be an offline professional network, right? We were launching Delhi first, and then we wanted to do a Bangalore or a Bombay and all of that. But we were starting with a bunch of benefits for 30 members. I remember 4th of April 2020 is when we were planning to launch in Gurgaon, and our venue and our speakers and the caterers and everything was sorted. I don't even think I have to mention what happened mid-March,
Yeah. Oh
right?
gosh,
And
timing. Huh.
yeah, to be honest, I think at that point, from our lens, there were two things we could do. One, we could have felt super sad about it. I think we were so close to launch. Both me and my co-founder had quit our decent jobs, and kind of to do this, and how everything was kind of going wrong from a timing perspective.
Yeah.
Two, we also thought that there was no better time for this community of women to come together, right? And for us to kind of build what we wanted to build. So that gave us an opportunity to start thinking more. And that's how we decided to look at it, right? And try not being negative about it at all. Over the next 30 days, we started thinking scale, we started pivoting to kind of survive the new normal, as we used to call it back then.
Yeah.
And I guess that was my biggest learning also, Savita, during that period. I think there's no point about thinking and worrying about things that aren't in your control. I don't think COVID was in our control. So always be thinking about what you can control, and then pivot and give it your best. And for us at that time, I remember it was to just evolve to be a more meaningful network, in whatever shape and form that may be then. And that's exactly what we did, right? So we used that time to make the platform even better for our users. We added additional touch points. We moved everything offline to online, and then we just wanted to make sure that our members get the best experience out of Leap. In hindsight, I think it was the best thing that could happen to us, because Leap wouldn't have come this far had we not pivoted, and the many times then and the many times even after, to make Leap what it is today.
Wow. I was going to ask you whether in hindsight, do you think that was the best thing to have happened to you? And I
I
think you
hate
answered.
to say it, but yes, I think it was the best
Yeah.
thing to happen to us at that point.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. Stay tuned as we take a quick break, and we'll see you on the other side of the show. During the pandemic, pivot was a big word, and there were a lot of people posting like, oh, this is just like such a, everyone says pivot. What does it mean? I think you've explained what it means to be able to take away from what you had put down on paper to changing it to something else. At this time, this is, I'm talking about when you made this change and made this shift, and we were going to have your first event. Did you already have your seed round, or did you raise it later?
We had raised our seed round. Yes.
Okay. And then post that, you set up the platform. What have been some unexpected outcomes? One is, of course, knowing that going online and making it bigger than what you thought it would be at the start is one outcome. What have been some other unexpected outcomes that you've seen with Leap Club so far?
I think something that I hadn't imagined, or actually even seen, and I've built some amazing products, is what I'd like to believe. But something that I hadn't seen before Leap was just the member love we got so early on, right? I even today, by the way, every day I get messages or I see stuff on our feed or on the community channels from members where they tell us how Leap has impacted their careers and kind of changed their lives. Right. And when you build with a mission as strong as ours, it's extremely easy to keep second guessing the impact you're driving to people's lives. So these things really help us understand what we're doing right, but also what do we need to change and what do we need to do better. And in fact, like I keep saying this to people that yes, COVID taught us the word pivot, but
Mhm.
I hope this learning doesn't go away from us. I think a lot of us started thinking in directions that we hadn't before, right?
Yeah.
So constantly doing that is very, very important. And in fact, speaking of member love, we actually made a website out of it. It's called love.leap.club.
Okay.
On all my hard days, I look at it and I keep going.
Yeah, and I think that an entrepreneur's journey is there's so many ups and downs. So I think this is a great one. I didn't know about this. I'm gonna go check it out, and we'll add that.
I'll just send it to you on the chat box as well.
Okay, thank you. And with that, I do want to ask you this. This is my favorite question always. How did you find a product market fit? In the sense, what's the research that you had to do
Hmm.
to make this great product? Or this is what you envisioned, you rolled it out, and it just was a hit. What was the process?
So I love the PMF questions, but I'll be honest, Savita, we didn't envision Leap in this form, in
Correct.
the PMF form as it is today, right? But the best thing about building Leap is how our ears are always to the ground.
Mm,
And we don't just learn from our existing about 3,000 odd members, but um, our sales team has conversations with women every single day, even today, right? So when we started, we used to do a bunch of benefits, for the lack of a better word. So there was coaching, there was therapy, there was
mm,
no app. Like we were a
yeah.
website, right? Today we're an app that focuses on making members meet and interact with other members. So we have super connections, which are basically these one-on-one connections between members. So members can follow and DM other members. We see a lot of these connections for business partnerships and jobs and just professional networking.
Yeah.
We have micro communities, which we didn't have until Jan this year. We call them clubhouses internally.
Mm,
So we have everything from women in tech to crypto to working moms to, just women sharing pet pictures.
mm,
So these help in meeting other members who share the same interests and learn kind of from them, even in smaller groups. And we have exclusive learning and networking experiences with other members. So we host master classes with industry leaders. So you learn everything from making that gin cocktail to an offline meetup to crypto to everything. And of course, we have jobs and coaching and peer learning groups and all these L&D business levers, which we'll continue to kind of build as we scale. But the
yeah.
point I'm trying to make is this wasn't Leap, right?
Yeah.
So the PMF journey has been a journey, but the good thing about us is we kind of have our ears to the ground at all times. We don't just speak to members every day, but we also speak to other women who we're kind of building for, right?
Okay.
So we
Okay.
don't have to kind of invest that much time in research, because in some sense we research every day. We
Yeah.
speak to these women who we build for every day.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's a great takeaway. So what you're saying is talk to your customers and
every
people
day.
who can be your future customers every single day. Keep your ears to the ground and don't just treat it as a one-time research. Then you go, you tweak your product and then you come back. But keep at it like every single day and listen to the feedback and reviews.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
that's
keep saying this to people. No product manager knows how to build your product like your customer does. In
yeah.
fact, we recently did a product roast where we put our entire product and tech team in the room, and we got like 10 women in product, which is not difficult for us, right? Like we got
Mm,
10 of our product, 10 of our members who are building great tech businesses and products to sit and roast our app,
mhm,
which we just released. So it's relatively easier for us to kind of learn from them,
yeah.
and build for them.
So I do want to ask you, on that note, does that then also help you have really strong stickiness because you're also talking to your clients every day? So I'm assuming that the relationships that you build with your clients are also pretty deep, and it helps
Yeah,
people continue and stay loyal to you.
absolutely. I think I've always believed relationships over followers. I think the best communities are based on strong relationships and not the likes on your social pages or your
Yeah.
posts, etc. Right. So I think just investing in every conversation, not just for our sales team, but also we have an engagement in a community team, is very, very important.
Great.
They feel heard, we build for them. And I think our feedback loop is extremely, extremely strong. And even when we scale, we're always going to keep that consistent.
Okay, awesome. And I do now want to come back to tell me what the process was for this raise, this round. What when you say it's not been easy, how is it also different from the previous round?
I think the previous round, it was on a dream, right? It was what we wanted to build. So people are pretty much more or less on your seed round investing in the founders, right? They're investing in the vision. Here, you get numbers in play, you get the vision in play, you get the TAM in play, you get the how big can this be in play, you get of course NPS, which is very very healthy for us in play. So I think it was very very different from our seed round. Uh, but yeah, I think for us, the real challenge was, like I said, building with people who believe in how we want Leap to scale. That is very very important. And people keep asking me, okay, what will Leap be in 5 years and 10 years? I'll be honest, I don't know, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, no founder can tell you that. But I think today, I think we've not just hit PMF, but we're very very clear on what members want out of this. I think so, and that's what we're going to kind of be bullish on. So it's going to be a very goal-led network more than a search-led network. I don't think we want to kind of optimize for shares and likes and all these things. In fact, we want to build product rails to scale professional networking, to make sure that members are meaningfully engaging with each other. Jobs is going to be big for us. So our members are literally the best talent pool in the country. Companies are waiting to hire them. So a lot of focus on that along with L&D, because these women technically want to invest in their professional growth. They pay us 5,000 rupees a year to be a part of it. So I think just for them, learning with the best set of peers is very, very important. Kind of like a very solid college alumni group, right? But only better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think right now we're very, very clear on what we want the next couple of years for us to look like. And we've got partners who believe in that, who believe in the fact that women actually invest in their professional growth. And yeah, very, very excited for the next couple of
And
months.
it's cool to do so as well. Like if you're
Yeah.
not doing it, you're missing out, right? It's also
And
like
I remember, I think when we were starting, I've also had people to my face tell me that women don't invest in their professional growth, and which is why this might not scale. And I think this is patient capital, right? I don't think we're a company that's chasing hockey stick growth. Everything that we do may sound non-scalable, but it will scale one day, and that's what we're waiting for.
Awesome. And did you have a doubt at any time during this round when you were raising funds that you may not be able to raise as much, or did you have any doubts on the outcome?
So I think for us, thankfully, we're a revenue first company, Savita. We don't need to raise to survive, right? Our numbers and our this thing look very, very strong. I think at the end of the day, it boils down to how fast can you scale. So for us, the money is to basically build our tech teams and
Marketing.
Marketing and mostly the team, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's not like, oh my God, our money was going to run out, right? But you don't want to build a business for 2 years, right? You want to build a business that's going to stay the game, is going to create an impact for decades to come. So I think the money makes us very, very comfortable today. And yeah, we have a strong vision, and we have people who back that vision, and we have members who back that too. So I think
I'm loving this conversation because from the outside, I can see this is, you're like, oh my God, I wish I had done this. Like, this was
but
a
those
great
6
idea.
months, since you spoke about the tough times, I think there were also days you would wake up and be like, shit, everyone's raising 1 million, everyone's raising 10 million, everyone's raising 50 million. But the thing is, everyone's journeys are very different, Savita, right? You may or may not need that money. So it's very important for you to understand how much money do you need, why do you need it, how you're going to spend it. Both my co-founder and I are extremely frugal founders. In fact, even with this raise, our previous raises, 70% of the money was still in the bank. But you can only build like that till a certain point. I think now was the time for us to kind of press the pedal on marketing and the team and all of that. And which is why we were a lot more comfortable raising now and raising the amount we did. And yeah, thankfully have a lot more in store.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I was going to ask you what the next 3 years look like, but you've already kind of answered
Covered that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what before I go into a day in your life and bring it down to you, I do want to ask you what's the best business lesson you've learned so far? Because we read about all of these business lessons and stories, but what's your like best piece of
I,
takeaway?
I think there's no one. I can give you maybe two.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest and the best one would actually be just building in public and building front foot.
Mm-hmm.
The ability to say everything that I said, the ability to talk about your failures is very, very important. When we quit our jobs to start Leap, a lot of the companies were building in private because, of course, stealth was the new cool.
Yeah.
We actually agreed to disagree,
Mm-hmm.
and we went ahead and kind of decided to build in public. We decided to build in front of people, not get married to any early ideas that we had, and just keep revisiting the drawing board from time to
Mm-hmm.
time. Right from our fundraise to product changes to our vision to culture, we speak about every single thing in public, and that's the kind of transparency both Anand and I kind of want at Leap at all times.
Yeah.
Two, I think the biggest, it's not so much of a business lesson as much as it's a lesson,
Mm-hmm.
is that entrepreneurship is extremely lonely.
Yeah.
So everyone should take out time for their friends and family and personal cheerleaders, right from the beginning. I wish I
Mm.
did more of that in my first year.
Okay, but yeah, like they say, it's a phase and it's never too late. But yeah, I do agree with you on this one. It is super lonely, and that's why not just having, I think, your families, but also having these communities and having a support group is so
Very
important.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, so that brings me to a day in your life. What does that look like?
Oh, very boring. It's not fun at all.
Hey,
My
I'm
weekdays,
expecting crazy. I'm not-
my weekdays are pretty standard. I actually wake up fairly early, 6-ish. Terrible habit to look at my phone and check if the world has changed in the last 6 hours that I've been sleeping. I then water my plants, I read a book, or I just speak to my parents who stay in Hyderabad.
Mhm.
I then actually around 8 start working on my plan of action for the day, just so that I have my day clear, and the team also does after. So yeah,
Mhm.
I shower and start my day when goes on till almost 8 at night. I try to work out of office at least once in a week because the monotony is killing me of staying
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are pretty much my weekdays and weekends. Saturday is my thinking and my own work day.
Mhm.
I try not to open my laptop until 8 a.m. that day. And yeah, I think I enjoy eating out, running at a park, all of that. Sundays, I prefer no people, lots of Netflix, lots of sleep, and a massive breakfast, which hopefully involves an egg Benedict. But yeah, that's my week.
Oh, lovely. I love hearing. This is my favorite part. I think Facebook and everything else was made for people like me who want to know what's happening in other people's lives, but especially like listening to entrepreneurs' lives because I think it's so changing and dynamic. But everybody
No two
has
weeks
that
are the
routine.
same. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody has a routine, and I like hearing everybody's. I love your Sundays as well. With that, I do have to ask one question, which is, have you like how do you deal with competition, and who maybe not who, but how do you have competition at all at this time? I'm not sure you do, but I still thought I'll ask. You can choose, we can edit this out, so don't worry.
I don't think, no, we don't have to edit it. In fact, I don't think we have an immediate competition. Like
Mm,
there is no Zomato Swiggy here, right?
mm, mm,
I think what we're building today is extremely, extremely unique.
mm,
Having said that, even if there were competition to come, I don't think that's so much of a bad thing. If at all, it only makes me believe a lot more in what we're building.
mm.
I think the world needs tons of leaps to succeed and make a difference. So competition is not something that keeps me up at night at all.
Yeah.
What I like to focus on is on the work we're doing and the impact we're creating and how we're scaling and growing and all of that. So So
Amazing.
no, not something. Keeps
Okay,
me
but I
motivated.
don't think you do have, because I was trying to check.
Yeah, no.
But everybody's so different. And yeah, you're right. It opens up the marketplace. It makes people more aware. Like when I started coaching in 2018, I remember in 2018, people tell me, are you a fitness coach? Like, are you going to like, they didn't know there was someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could hire. They knew executive coaches for CEOs in the corporate world, but they didn't know they could hire one themselves. They always thought I was a fitness coach.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love your answer on competition. And with that, any advice to our audience besides, of course, join Leap Club, but any other advice?
Yes, everyone join Leap Club.
Yeah, absolutely. They should. I'm next in the line.
Lovely.
What's one thing that, oh yeah, this was one thing I want to, what, is there something that you wish you knew when you started, or it's everything is learning?
I think every day is a learning curve, but I remember this was pretty early when we were just starting, and in fact, one coach kind of told this to me during a session that we were doing with a bunch of members, right? Which was, and it's still stuck to me, which was, in your hardest times, you learn your toughest lessons. And every time I know I'm going through a really, really tough time, I keep going back to this quote, right? And I know, okay, we're going to come out stronger. And that's something that I wish I knew a little earlier. Because I mean, as women, you're also super hard on yourself, right? Like you want to be thin, you want to do this, you want to do that. So that imposter syndrome, so to speak, kind of kills you internally. But yeah, I think this quote kind of stuck by me, and it's something I keep going back to time and again.
Wow, I love the quote. And before I kind of wrap this up, is there anything that you would like to share with our audience? Your advice to budding entrepreneurs? Our audience is largely an entrepreneurial audience.
Love it. It's the best thing you can do to yourself. But just remember, of course, while it's a lonely journey, there are hard days. There are days you're pulling your hair out. Just remember, it just takes one yes, right? So don't give up. Be super front foot about everything that you're doing, about what you're building, and show up every day, right? Even on days you don't want to. I think it's very, very important to show up. If not for yourself, then for your team. So yeah, that's a little bit from me.
Thank you so much. I've loved our conversation so far. And now finally, if people want to join Leap Club, how do they do that? Of course, I'll be dropping all the links, but I know that you have a process.
Yes, so we do. In fact, memberships are sold out till December for us, but please join the waitlist at www.leap.club. And our team will be in touch. And for listeners listening today, please write to me on rd@leap.club, and I'm happy to bump you up the list as well.
Okay, done. I'm going to be sharing that. And is there a reason that you're not able to take everybody at the same time? Is it because you're building platform?
We're trying to build right. We're trying to build right, Savita. So I think our team speaks to every single person before onboarding them. And I know this sounds absurd in 2021, but I think it's what makes Leap stand apart. And it kind of, it's why Leap is what Leap is today, with the quality discussion, with the kind of members, with all of that. So we want to keep doing that till we can. And which is why it's completely manpower based or woman power based, if I may.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're also hiring. So in case you're keen to join the team, it's jobs@leap.club. A video is all it takes. And yeah, just send that to us, and we'll be happy to chat.
I'll share that as well. And thank you so very much. And I wish you all the very best, you and your co-founder and your team, your amazing team, all the very best. And I look forward to cheering you on and sharing in your journey in the future as well. Thank you so much for your time today. You've been really generous. Yeah, lovely having you here, Ragini. Thank you for listening to the podcast. If you like this episode and you want more, you can go to the show notes on my website, which is successwithsavita.com/podcast. If you like what you've heard so far, I would be grateful to you if you could leave me a 5-star review, subscribe to this podcast, and share with a friend who may find this useful. You can also follow me on my Instagram @successwithsavita and DM me any questions you may have, and I will be happy to answer them for you. Until the next episode, believe in yourself and all the best to your success.
इस हब हॉपर ओरिजिनल को सुनने के लिए आपका शुक्रिया। अगर आप भी अपना पॉडकास्ट लॉन्च करना चाहते हैं तो हब हॉपर स्टूडियो वेबसाइट पे रजिस्टर करें और 1 मिनट के अंदर अंदर अपना खुद का पॉडकास्ट लॉन्च करें। यही नहीं, स्टूडियो देता है आपको पूरी आजादी कहीं भी कभी भी अपना पॉडकास्ट लॉन्च करने की, सिर्फ 3 आसान स्टेप्स में। तो साथ में अपना पॉडकास्ट शुरू करने के लिए तैयार? जस्ट हॉप ऑन हब हॉपर, सिंपली कंटेंट।